Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Again, for me this is my third iteration of this video. The first two didn't pan out just because the camera I was trying to use, the quality was, but what are we talking about today? Today we are talking about the Taurus G3C. Now, just so everybody knows, yes, you can see the yellow follower, so that's empty. Keep forgetting it's got a manual safety on it. It's got an empty chamber, so there you go, we know that's empty, and we'll be comparing it to, as I pull this one out, the Glock 43X, which orange follower, and it too is empty, nothing in it, and in the meantime it is going to be sitting in a holster right behind me. So without further ado, let's talk about the Taurus G3C. So, yes, this is a personal gun. However, it is not purchased for me, and we'll get to that. But what is the Taurus G3C? Well, it's your budget gun. If you're in the market for your first gun, or you're looking just to buy a plinker at the range that's not a 22, this is actually going to be a pretty good option for you. Now, I know when people come in and they're shopping and they're looking for their first gun, I always suggest things like Glock and SIG, something that's really reliable. Granted, going for a SIG can be a little expensive. Glocks, they're evenly priced. They're not bad. You're looking at over $500, but for some people, that is a little too much of a stretch. Well, in steps Taurus. So this little bad boy right here has an MSRP of around $350-ish, plus or minus. All right, so don't quote me on the exact price, because depending on where you live, prices are different. Here in the Northeast, everything's freaking expensive. So let's talk about this. Yes, it is striker fired. Overall size, with the magazine in it, with that pinky extension, it fits nice. It's about the size of the 43X. And that's why I compared it to the 43X. And granted, it is a little chunkier. It is wider than the 43X, which has got a really slim profile to it. It does have a manual safety on it, which I'm not a big fan of. So if you were buying this for an everyday carry, you're going to have to overcome this obstacle. As in, you're going to put in more time practicing getting that habit built, so that when you punch out, you're coming off of it automatically, and you're going to be holding it down, actively holding it down. Don't get below it, because as you shoot, you're going to ride and click it up, and then when your trigger stops working, you're going to be in a world of hurt, because you're not thinking logically at this point, and you're going to freak out because the gun doesn't work like it's supposed to, versus the Glocks, which is why I like them. No manual safeties, they just go. And we'll get into the nuts and the bolts of the safeties on this. Now, I already did another video on another channel that has a complete review on the Taurus. So if you watched it on that channel, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of rehashing that information on this one. But then we're going to go more in depth on things I didn't like, little quirks that I found when we first started using it. But let's go over the overall specs. The barrel, from chamber to the muzzle, is going to be about 3 inches. So your accuracy, it's there, but you're not getting that long distance accuracy. So it's a handgun. You're going to be using it at close quarters anyways. And close quarters really depends on everyone's point of view. For me, a handgun, I'm like 25 yards or less. So point of aim, point of impact on this one, for me, right around 10 yards. There you go. Could be a little different for you, but for me, I found it to be 10 yards. I'm going to refer to my little list of notes here, because I want to get it right for you guys. Alright, so when you purchase this, it is going to come with 3 magazines. 3 of these bad boys, which is not bad. Anytime I buy a gun, I usually end up buying a plethora of extra magazines for it. Excuse me. Just so I can have enough, because I always like to carry spares, and of course I have them on my gun belt, things like that. And you can't just go through life with one mag for your gun. You're going to need more, all right? Because 1 is none, 2 is 1, etc., etc. So, in a normal state, such as Tennessee, Texas, Montana, North Dakota, Utah, you know, the center of the country where they don't have weird gun laws that infringe on your rights, the magazines are designed to hold 12, plus 1 in the chamber for 13. However, I live in the great state of Connecticut where we artificially cap these at 10. So I'm going to have 10 in the mag, 1 in the pipe, because that's 10 plus 1, which is legal. So if normally I could have 13, now I only have 11, so I'm literally only losing 2 rounds overall, which is not bad compared to something like a Glock 17 where you have 17 in the mag, 1 in the pipe, so there's 18 rounds. But in Connecticut, I'm only allowed to have 10, artificially capped, plus 1 in there in the chamber. So there you go. I'm down to 11 rounds versus 18. So I'm losing out on 7 rounds. I'd rather, honestly, with something like this, lose 2 than 7. That's insane. I know what everyone's going to say in the comments. Todd, just move. It's in the works, guys. It takes a little bit of time. All right? Let's talk about the action type. This is a single action because it is striker fired. However, it's got something that they call the restrike. So to me, I just call that, technically it's double action. That's what it reminds me of. So for this, when you pull that trigger, it's really squishy. We will talk about the trigger itself in a bit. There you can hear it, firing pin went off, and then when you bring that, the trigger reset is horrendous, we'll talk about it. You can do that again, over and over. What would that be used for? Well, if you had a misfire, you can probably try and hit it again. Not that I would recommend it. I would recommend waiting 30 seconds and then dropping your mag, clearing the round out at a range, or in a real life scenario, at that point I would slap and rack and re-engage. So now you saw the restrike on that gun. So here's a Glock. Okay, it is empty, and here we go on that wall, and nice break, 6 pounds. Ooh, it's dead. All right, you've got to reset that trigger. So if I take the magazine out, there's that reset, and then I can go again. But without the gun cycling, it doesn't work because, well, it's a single action. All right, it's striker fire. They're all going to be single action. The gun must cycle. Except with the Taurus, they've got that cool restrike capability. All right, the other thing it has is an accessory rail. This is a plus for this over the Glock 43X. So with the accessory rail, yes, with this you're able to put on a flashlight. And don't give me that, I'm going to put a laser on it. Nobody puts lasers on their handguns. All right. With the Glock 43X, however, as I pull it out, there is 0 accessory rail. There you go. There's the knock on the Glock. So we're going, I'd go with this. All right. It's nice that you can put the flashlight on there. Tech specs. All right. So it is in the compact category. It is not bad. It's actually easily concealable. Some other specs on this would be, for all those nerds that just need to know, the barrel is a 1 in 10 right hand twist with 6 grooves. Some of you probably don't care about that, but I thought I'd throw it in there because it's on the spec sheet. So, all right, it's got a polymer frame and it's got a steel slide, obviously. The barrel itself is stainless steel, so be mindful of it when you're cleaning it. I know it's stainless steel, but I would definitely check this for rust, corrosion, things like that, versus other gun barrels, which are going to be like nitride and all that good stuff. All right. Let's talk about the safety features. So the nice thing with this is it's loaded with safety features. So that was one of the things that was really important to me, because like I said, this was my son's 16th birthday present. He had the option of a car or his very own starter handgun. So when he turns 21, gets his pistol permit, he'll have something to start with for home defense, things of that nature. He opted for a gun over a car. Good for him. So safety features. First and foremost, at the very top right there, it has a loaded chamber indicator. Unlike the Ruger, which is tactile that comes up, this is just a window that you're looking into, which a lot of guns come with today anyways. I know my 320 is on the side. I can see the brass inside there, so I know it's loaded. So you're not sitting there having to do press checks and all that good stuff, which, listen, I'm all about doing press checks. It's a habit of mine. I always press check things. Obviously, I talked about it's got that manual safety on it. It's got a striker block safety and a trigger safety, which you guys may affectionately know as the blade safety from Glocks. While the Glock trigger safety is very thin compared to the overall trigger itself, this one is thick with like 3 C's. It's big. It's the vast majority of the trigger is going to be that trigger safety. At least you don't have to worry about it breaking. Okay. It does break down just like a Glock for the most part. It's very reminiscent. I know most guns today are going with either breaking down like a SIG or a Glock, unless you're Ruger, and then you just don't care and you have to open up trap doors, you got to sniff it, lick it, twist it, bop it, chew on it, and then you can break. I hate Rugers. I hate breaking them down. They're such a pain, but I digress. Alright, so breaking this down is actually pretty easy. First step, obviously, take the mag out. Step 2 is make sure that there's nothing in the chamber. Alright, you're going to bring the slide forward, put 4 fingers on top, thumb on the back where the beaver tail goes, and you're going to move it back just a hair. You're going to depress both the little breakdown switches. You're going to bring it forward. Alright, they're going to stay down. Pull the trigger, and it comes right off. Alright? It is very dirty inside. I have not cleaned it since I shot it, and I will. That's slated for sometime this weekend when it's all rainy. And to get it all back together, put it back on, and you're in there. You're in like Flint. Good to go. Alright? Not hard to break down. Actually, it's pretty nice. Okay? There you go. Those are all the specs to it, or all the great things. You can tell by the video, the gun cycles like a champ. Now let's talk about the nightmare we had in the beginning. So, when we first got this, gave it to my son for his birthday. He was jazzed. We took it to the range. Right out the gate, coming out of the box, it's a Taurus. It was full of grease and gunk and all kinds of junk. We figured, why not? We'll shoot it. We'll see what happens. Let's just say total pain in the rear. So the first mag or two, every time we shoot it, the gun wouldn't fully cycle. In fact, the slide would stop right about here. It's kind of hard to see, but the slide would stop there, and I had to constantly hit it forward. This went on for a bit, and then it started to work itself out. It happened maybe every 2, 3, maybe 5 rounds. Needless to say, I kept having to hit the back of this thing to get it back in battery. And after about an hour of doing this, my hand was done. I had a nice bruise here, even through my shooting gloves. So we opted to just put this up and go with the SIG and the Glock and all the other guns we had. Came home, totally broke this down into all its little pieces, stripped it of everything with some good old shooter's lube, oiled up in all the key places, put it together, and then we ran it to the range about a month or so later. And We still had a few hiccups, still had a few jams, but overall it started to work itself out. And by the time I filmed this video, 0 problems. So the point is, clean it and be prepared. There's a break-in process. Within 300 to 400 rounds, it should be working nice and smooth. So you're going to have to break the gun in. I kind of get spoiled with SIG and Glocks. For the most part, you're able to take them out of the box and start shooting them, and there's no break-in process. You're good to go. With the Taurus, you're going to have that break-in process. So it's a workout, guys. It's that simple. You're going to have to work up to a gun that runs nice and smooth. Whatever. It is what it is. But now, I've got no complaints, other than, obviously, I would not carry this for an everyday carry, mainly because that manual safety. Not a big fan of it. Yes, I could train and keep training and training and training, which I do, don't get me wrong. That being said, I just prefer guns, much like the SIG or Glocks, where there is no manual safeties on it whatsoever. I just want it to work. Point and go. Not have to worry about extra things. You know, I mean, these are all mechanical. These things can fail, so I wouldn't rely on it. What really miffs me are guns that come with manual safeties and backstrap safeties and this and that. Glocks have 3 safeties from the factory. It's more than enough. The only thing I wish this was ambidextrous. So if you're ever using it left-handed or if you're a southpaw, unfortunately all your controls are going to be on this side. It's what it is. It's a right-handed person's world. Sorry. Go get a 19X or a P320. They're ambidextrous. They make plenty of ambidextrous guns out there, but this one, it is what it is. So, yeah. I wish it were ambidextrous. It's not. It's fine. You know, it's not a deal breaker for me since everybody is right-handed. We do have a little holster for it. Little pedal holster. Obviously, it's marked right on the back, so we know. So we have holsters all over the place. I have not carried this, nor would I. We have the holster just for dry firing, things like that. I respect the fact that it is not for me, and to film the video and all that good stuff to do the review, I asked permission. Alright, before I forget, one thing I definitely want to talk about are the sights. The sights do take a little getting used to. You've got your standard little white ball up front, but then the sights in the rear are totally blacked out. So you just got to put the ball down into the box, and they're not bad. You just have to get used to them. Versus Glock, where you can clearly see your rear sight, or SIGs where you have like 3 dots in a row. If you're going to carry this for an everyday carry, I would suggest first thing you do is swap your sights out for some night sights. I say that about all guns, whether it be your Glocks or SIGs or a Taurus or your shadow systems, a CZ. If you're going to run it as an everyday carry, you're going to need night sights. That's just the fact of life. Because if you can't see your sights in the dark, there's no way to know if they're lined up, and then you're shooting in the dark and you're going to miss. So make sure you switch out to night sights. Unless you can find one with night sights. That would be even better. Alright, overall, that's about it. Talking about the G3C. It's not bad. It's a good budget gun. If you're strapped for funds, whatever, but you still want to buy one, you want to buy a quality gun, the Taurus is not going to be bad. I'm not going to poo-poo it. Okay, I mean, now if it was a high point, I would crap all over that because those guns are garbage. But I know plenty of people that actually desire these. I know people that have SIGs, Glocks, shadow systems, Canics. They've got CZs, but they still want one of these because they like it. They like how it feels, they like how it handles, they like how it shoots. I can't complain. Overall, I was impressed with its, once it got broken, I was impressed with how it felt, how it worked, how it shot. That is one thing that I have noticed with this one versus something comparable in size, the Glock. When shooting this one, the 43X, it can be a little bit snappy at times. I did not get that from this. There was real no snap to it. Shooting stayed nice and flat. There was no jerking. I think what a lot of it had to do with is it has a little depressions in the frame for you to really dig in your support hand thumb. I use it on the other side for my index finger. It does have one right here. It feels like it's designed for your thumb to go here. I don't put my thumb that low, and this little fat tissue part doesn't really do much in it, because again, I'm going to be on top of this writing that safety, so my grip is pretty much locked in like this. I am not one of those shooters that has that big gap in there, which I know some people like to bring it down hard. I'm not into that. I'm just into the standard grip, nice and tight. So I could deal without these little grooves, but the ones here, nice. It's a nice little touch. I do wish it was stippled though. I think it would work better if there was some nice stippling in there. Maybe in the future we'll send it out to be stippled, but for now it does what it's supposed to do. It works. I had no problem shooting it. So alright, that's enough rambling about the Taurus. Again, please like, share, comment. All the social links are on the main page, so go like Instagram, Truth, Facebook, whatever your thing is. Links are there for locals, for Patreon. Feel free to help support the channel if you want. Hopefully soon we'll be having merch come out for you guys to help support the channel, which will allow us to expand and get new equipment and new items to review, things of that nature. Alright, that's all I got for you guys. You guys have a great night, and I will see you guys in the next video. Alright, so one of the things I like to do when filming is the last mag, it holds 10, is I start at the 3-yard mark and I'm shooting at steel. If I hit it, I can move back to 5. If I hit it, I move back to 7, move back to 10, etc., all the way back. If I make it to 50, great. If I don't, wherever I hit it last, I know that's my limit for the day. I wouldn't be able to hit anything past that. So it's a good indicator of, whether you're having a good day or a bad day. Some days that, I get to 10 yards and I screw the pooch. It's like, okay, 10 yards is my limit. So I hope to God if I have to take a shot at a bad guy, he's within 10 yards. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to take the shot. Not unless I was really, really desperate. All right, but we're going to do this one take. All right. It's got a manual safety, remember. All right, so we're going to move into position. All right, and I'm sorry if, I'm on ground, so if it's a little uneven, I'm sorry. All right, so we are at 3 yards. Moving back. This is about the 5-yard mark, and I'm shooting at it on an angle because the table's in the way. Okay, 10 yard. 10 yards. All right, it's a tiny stage. I can't click it. All right, about 15. Got it to 15. We'll walk back. This is maybe 18. There you go. I missed it. So my last mark was 15 yards, so I know everything in from 15 yards. I'm good. You know, I don't know how much I missed it by. It didn't look like that much. So, you know, it is what it is. But I still got some in here, so let's finish her off. Now she's empty. I love shooting stuff. All right, now I got to clean everything up. All right, I lied. Real quick, here's a little PSA. If you happen to be shooting steel at a stupid close distance, which I did today, use frangible ammo if you can find it. Otherwise, as I was cleaning up, a little piece of copper jacket was sitting on the table. So you don't want to get peppered with this crap. So if you're shooting steel and it's relatively close, make sure you have the proper PPE on. Last thing you want to do is lose an eye for some stupid shit like that. All right, now I'm done. All right, go. Like the video, share it, subscribe, do whatever it is you're doing. I'll talk to you guys later.